Result of being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? We would fight.
Puffy was there, and I would never forget it. We had this conversation, and he said, "You're gonna have to trust me."
13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you're gonna put me in the studio, man.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn some...
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's.
I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass?
Yeah, I was so mesmerized, I don't even know what you're talking about. I was just so blown away by the stamina, the connection, being able to be connected, that along with so much. You have like so much, mother ain't doing all this shit, all those dance numbers and all. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's how. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now
The biggest names in music are getting exposed, one by one. And the shocking lengths some parents go to for fame and fortune, it's disturbing. This is the heartbreaking story of how Usher's own mother allegedly gave him up, sparking a dangerous cycle that still affects young stars in Hollywood today. Usher was just a kid when he first stepped into the spotlight, managed closely by his mom. Everything seemed to be going right. He landed a deal with LaFace Records under L.A. Reid, the same guy who would later discover Justin Bieber. But then, out of nowhere, Usher lost his voice, and that's when his path crossed with Diddy's. At this point, Diddy was already known for his wild, unpredictable behavior.
He's
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody
crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
So when he asked Usher's mom to let 13-year-old Usher move in with him, the red flags were everywhere. But instead of protecting her son, Usher's mom allegedly agreed without a second thought, just for the promise of success. She didn't know Diddy personally. She didn't know what his intentions were. And yet, she still sent her teenage son off to live with him, completely unsupervised. It wasn't a parental decision, it was a business move. And that decision may have changed Usher's life forever.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
What
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old.
What went on at Diddy's so-called flavor camp has remained controversial for years, but Usher himself has opened up about what he experienced. He said it wasn't just music and mentorship, it was something else entirely. Usher revealed that staying with Diddy taught him everything he knows about adulthood. Let that sink in. He described walking into rooms and seeing things no one should ever see, groups doing who knows what behind closed doors, and a constant atmosphere of chaos. According to Usher, it was a place where you never knew what was going to happen. And this was just the beginning of the dark truth behind Diddy's circle. And what came next would leave the industry shaken.
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. and I'm not gonna speak on their name, they doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking, and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when people say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent her to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard it, and that's what happened.
Usher ended up living with Diddy, and when his debut album dropped, it exploded, thanks to Diddy pulling strings behind the scenes. But success came with a price. Allegedly, in return for all the help, Usher had to stay close to Diddy and do whatever he asked. No questions, no limits. The whispers about their relationship have been circling for over 2 decades now. And it's not just gossip.
Take your time with him. Breathe it in. Yeah, they yours when you go see the you. You ain't for nobody else but you. You take your time, boy. I see you. Fly out going Vegas. You in the kitchen. Eating all my cereal. Man, you doing Vegas in a pink suit. God is the greatest. Won't he do it?
Former bodyguards, industry insiders, and even interviews with Usher himself have hinted that something was seriously off. Diddy's behavior around 13-year-old Usher raised eyebrows and a lot of red flags. Disturbingly, Usher wasn't the only young star Diddy had under his control. There are reports of multiple minors being involved, and even a shocking claim that one incident between Diddy and Usher led to Usher being rushed to the hospital. Some in the music industry have come forward saying they heard about a young boy living with Diddy who had to be hospitalized after a disturbing situation allegedly involving the producer. By that point, Diddy had full control over Usher's life.
Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp.
A now infamous leaked clip from one of Diddy's strange parties shows him hugging Usher and casually telling Kevin Hart that he was going to bed with Usher. And later, in a separate interview, Diddy admitted that when Usher stayed at Flavor Camp, they would wake up together. Why was a grown man sharing a bed with a young boy? And the consequences didn't stop there. Allegedly, Usher contracted herpes as a result of everything that happened. Fast forward to 2012, Usher was accused of giving the virus to 2 women and a man. He reportedly ended up paying over $1 million in settlements.
Well, some documents have leaked about Usher. They were obtained by Radar Online, and apparently back in 2009 or 2010, he had contracted herpes and passed it on to a celebrity stylist having unprotected sex with her. He had to pay $1.1 million to that woman for severe emotional distress, and he also covered her medical bills. That case was settled back in 2012.
But this is far from over. The deeper you dig, the darker it gets. Usher has never come out publicly, and that's entirely his decision. But what has people talking is the pattern. It's strange how he always seems surrounded by men who either exploit others or are being exploited themselves. And here's the real twist. Usher, who once seemed like a victim in this dark web, allegedly became part of the same system that harmed him. In 2008, Justin Bieber was just 13 years old, the exact age Usher had been when he entered the industry.
First time you met Justin Bieber, this kid comes up to you. He's not Justin Bieber yet. He's just some kid. And he says, I want to sing for you.
It was at the studio of Jermaine Dupri's. I said, why don't you set up a meeting between me and your manager? I'd love to meet with you and do this in a formal setting. I'm late for an appointment with Jermaine Dupri.
Right.
And I don't want to keep him waiting. Let's just do this the right way.
And then you have him come to audition for you, right?
Actually, there were a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reid, L.A. Reid's first wife.
So you were all sitting in a room somewhere?
We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing.
When all these dick pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people will come to those concerts. Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of manager he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, yeah, show your or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR,
Hey,
man.
by the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his penis?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his penis is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher is somebody...
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man. Come on.
That's when Justin was signed to L.A. Reid, with Usher stepping in as his manager. You'd think, given everything Usher had gone through, he'd want to protect Justin. But what actually happened is chilling. Instead of shielding Justin, Usher allegedly handed him over to Diddy for 48 hours. No parents, no managers, no supervision. Diddy had total control, and Justin wasn't allowed to speak about what went down during that time. It was as if the cycle had come full circle. Diddy had reportedly groomed Usher to the point where he now trusted him enough to help bring in the next vulnerable child star. And Justin's parents? According to insiders, they were just like Usher's mom, more concerned with fame than their own child's safety.
But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody.
And a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making a lot of allegations.
Mm-hmm. Same way they made allegations about Usher when Usher was younger.
I mean, do you think that there's any credibility to these allegations?
When there's smoke, there's fire. Why would Diddy be tapping this kid in his chest to see if he wired? And asking him, are you wired? Why would he be confronting that kid? Why would Justin Bieber make a song about, what is it? I got smashed at a Diddy party or something like that? Why? There's reasons behind all this. So where there's smoke, there's fire, Cam. I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, just think about how young I was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, and
Justin looked up to Usher. He admired Diddy. But in the end, both of them allegedly let him down in ways that scarred him for life. In one interview, Justin broke down in tears while talking about what happened during those early years. He spoke about how badly he wants to protect young artists now, so they don't go through the same nightmare. And when it came to Usher, Justin didn't hold back. He reportedly said being managed by Usher was the worst thing that ever happened to him. He's still trying to recover from those haunting memories. Justin even testified about the damage done and revealed that working with Usher derailed his career. He eventually unfollowed Usher on social media and flat out refused to perform with him at the Super Bowl.
Do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark.
Yeah, Justin, he's been real quiet about this. I mean, I think like a lot of the other celebrities.
I was reading some, Cam, and the kids say after he went to Diddy camp, he started using and was smashed every day. What would cause a kid who wanted to be an artist in the music business all of a sudden to start getting high and drinking and popping pills and smoking? What would cause a kid to do that?
But the betrayals didn't stop there. More secrets were still waiting to come out. It wasn't just Usher and Diddy who let Justin down. His own parents turned their backs on him too. While he was being passed around and used, the world looked the other way. People laughed, made memes, and dismissed the pain as nothing more than bad boy behavior. But the truth? Justin was a hurting kid, crying out for help, and nobody listened. Behind the scenes, it wasn't fame that surrounded Justin. It was manipulation. Instead of protecting him, Usher allegedly handed him straight into the hands of what many refer to as the so-called gay mafia, running parts of the industry. And Diddy? According to multiple insiders, he wasn't just using Justin. He was using Usher too. Gene Deal, one of Diddy's former bodyguards, didn't hold back. He said, "When there's smoke, there's fire."
Yeah, you got to trademark that. But do you believe hip-hop got a gay mafia?
Yes. Do I believe there's people behind the scenes that are homosexuals that are pushing buttons? Yes. Yes. And that they want you to be down with their in order to push the button for you? Absolutely. And this is part of it. You just saw one of the gay mafia members. That's who he is. That's who Puffy is. He's one of the members of the mob. He's a mafia member. But he might not be Don Carl. He's not the Godfather. You see? He's not the Godfather. He's one of the heads of the families. You see? We had different families in this fucking thing. We got Bad Boy. We got fucking what do we have? Death Row over here. We have the different we got fucking Arista Records and LaFace. These are the fucking families in the mafia. You dig? Those record companies are like families.
And that all the rumors surrounding Justin and Usher come directly from what people saw happening around Diddy. This wasn't hearsay, it was witnessed. Now, here's where things take a jaw-dropping turn. There are whispers that both Usher and Justin were caught on tape during these alleged incidents with Diddy, and lawyers involved in the ongoing cases have confirmed that those tapes might be shown in court. If that happens, it could destroy some of the biggest names in the music industry. Diddy knows the pressure is mounting. That's why his legal team is now trying to block everything. They filed a motion to suppress all evidence collected during the raids on his mansion. But even that might not be enough. Because this is just the beginning. The stories swirling around Diddy, Usher, and Justin point to something much bigger. A hidden, twisted side of the music world that's been kept in the dark for way too long. And as the truth creeps closer to the surface, the fallout could shake the entire industry to its core.